Hey everyone, this is Matt. You found the build video for the Skyjeep, a joint project between Burntwood RC and Rumbuilder.com. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and give you kind of a talk through on my build. I've never done a build video before, so bear with me. Obviously, step one is I open the box. Make sure you don't let anything drop to the floor. There are little tiny pieces of this, and if you lose one, you're going to have a bad day. This is where I took a few minutes just to organize everything. Also gave me a chance to touch all the pieces and kind of get a feel for what I wanted to do and what parts I wanted to assemble first. I decided to go with the arms, but before I did that I had to poke out all the blanks that come from the laser cut holes. This just takes a minute, but it really helps out with the build. And there we have all the pieces laid out. And, pick where you want to start. Like I said, I like to go with the arms first. Putting the arms together kind of gets them out of the way. They go together really easy. There's a top plate, a middle plate, and a bottom plate. The middle plate is the hollow plate, and then the bottom doesn't have any of the screw holes for the motors, and the top plate does. So they go together real well. Just make sure you get them lined up straight. If you don't get them lined up straight, they'll still work, they just look a little goofy. You might have to widen a hole or something. I use C-clamps, and clamps are a real necessity on this build. They really help things go together a lot easier. For the arms, I use thin CA and just wick it into the sides. It makes it really strong. My original prototype I crashed pretty hard and none of these arms broke. Quad actually uses nylon screws to hold the arms to the frame, and those are kind of like a fusible link. When you hit the ground, the nylon breaks long before the quad breaks. Just go ahead and repeat it on all the other arms, and I just set those aside and moved on to building the body of the Jeep. This is the fun part. This is where it starts to actually look like a Jeep, or a utility vehicle, I should say. Put the sides of the pickup bed thing on there. Right. And I use thick CA for this part. It just kind of helps grab a little better, makes it go together easier. Use whatever glue you're happy with, whatever you're used to working with. Then the tailgate goes on like so, and it's starting to look like a Jeep. This is the first part of the build that actually uses any kind of tools. You can use sandpaper here. I used a Dremel because I have one. Now these front fender pieces, you gotta sand the back side that butts up against the rear fender piece. And give it an angle, I don't know, about 20 to 30 degrees. Just make it fit. You can sand both of them, but I just chose to sand the front one. I'm sure a better woodworker can make this thing look a lot nicer than I did. I just like to fly. And the next step, after we have all this put together, is we're going to take the hood frame. This is two pieces that go together, one on top of the other. The bottom piece is actually what holds the hood from falling through when you put the hood on. Don't be stingy on clamps here. Make sure you get everything lined up straight before you apply any glue. And then the hood frame just snaps onto the top of the front fenders. I guess you call those mid fenders. Make sure not to stick it to your finger like I did. Alright, and these pieces here, and this is the window and the window frame. This is pretty simple. The little circles go on the window. We gave you two different windows here, depending on which kind of camera that you want to use. I actually switched camera mounts. I was originally going to use this one, but the camera I went with you required the other window, so I made both pieces. These are the inner fenders, not the inner fenders. These are the fender flares themselves, and these go on real nice. They just kind of click into place, and you can actually just wick the glue in. Next step, I added the front grille, and this is a really exciting part. This is when it starts to look really awesome. And here we go with the window that I assembled earlier. These little teardrop shaped pieces are how the window actually attaches to the hood. We got the bottom part of our fenders. We're approaching the part here that takes a little bit more time and effort than anything else. We got kind of that final stretch on getting this thing put together, and that's going to be these angled fender pieces here. You notice we gave you a lot of them in the kit. That's just in case you mess up, which I did. I went through a couple of these before I got it down, and the reason is they're cut a little bit long, and that's so you can take some material off, and if you don't get the angle just right, you take some more material off, take a little bit more material off, and if you take too much off, you can rest assured you got a couple extras in the kit. As I said, this is kind of the tedious part of the build. Once you get past this, it's pretty easy. Once you get everything set up how you want it, go ahead and just glue all the fender pieces into place. This is kind of the home stretch. Just remember the bigger bumper goes in the back and the smaller bumper goes in the front. Now we get to use those nylon screws I was talking about. And it's a good idea to run the screws up through the bottom, because it's easier to have the nut on top, and the screw in the bottom makes it a lot easier to take the quad apart and put it back together. As you're fiddling with the wiring later on, you'll really appreciate that. Final step for me, which you could do this earlier in the build, but to be absolutely honest, I almost forgot to do it. These little feet here protect your arms, keep your quad level on the ground. They act as landing gear. You've now built the burnt wood Rumbuilder Skyjeep. Oh yeah, add nuts.